Since the dawn of time, man has been fascinated with the ocean. We have fished, wondered, and feared. As a young child, I learned about the fear, and the fear had a name. And the name is Jaws.
Jaws was released in theaters in 1975. It was directed by Steven Spielberg and starred Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. Jaws is regarded as the father of blockbuster movies and one of the first high-concept films. Due to the film's success and advanced screenings, studio executives decided to distribute it in a much wider release than ever before. With its blockbuster success, Jaws went on to win 3 Academy Awards, one for Best Film Editing, Best Music Score, and Best Sound. It did not win for Best Picture. Jaws starts off with one of the most terrifying scenes in horror movie cinema. A pretty young girl goes into the water and is brutally attacked and killed by an unknown creature in the water. The next day, Chief Brody investigates suspecting a shark attack and urges the mayor, Larry Vaughn, to shut down the beaches. But afraid of panic and less tourists, Larry ignores the chief's suggestions and keeps the beach open, leading to another shark attack on a young boy. Brody calls in Matt Hooper, a marine scientist from the mainland, to see if he can find the shark. When another shark attack ensues and almost kills Brody's son, Matt Hooper and Brody call upon Quint to go help find their shark. In 1986, I was 4 years old and my family was getting ready to go down to Anaheim to go to Disneyland in the summer and also stop by Universal Studios. One night my parents had rented the movie Jaws and asked me do I want to watch the movie with them or go upstairs. Being that I didn't want to be around the boogeyman, I watched the movie with them. I chose poorly.
Well, I remember he was always very, very, very frightened of Jaws. Whether it was a movie, just anything that had to do with the ocean.
He's always been interested in Jaws. He's been afraid of Jaws, but he's always been interested in it. Can't not see the movie.
Whenever the movie came out, he was little and he couldn't even watch it on the television. He was scared to death of Jaws.
There's only 2 details about the Universal trip I remember from 1986. One, the Phantom of the Opera is an ass and he scared the hell out of me. He tried to make up for it by giving these postures like, oh, I'm sorry, but the damn guy wouldn't leave and I was crawling all over my dad. Second of all, when we were on the tram, I started noticing things from the movie, and I started thinking, did my parents lie to me? I think this thing is real. So there I am on the tour, we're passing the big sign that says Amity welcomes you. And I'm thinking, I've seen this someplace before. I see the boat rentals, I see the lake. I'm thinking, okay, this is a movie set, this is fine, and then bam. I look out and there is the fin. That is the fin I've seen in the movie. This thing is real. And I'm thinking, why are we going over the dock? Why don't we just back up and get out of there, call the authorities, and then that happens. Bam. The guy gets dragged underwater and there's blood, and I'm thinking, oh crap, this is what we need. The guy informs us that, don't worry, there's shark repellent out there, we're going to take care of that shark, don't worry. So the shark takes the bait, and then takes half the dock with it. And I'm grabbing hold of my dad, and my dad's having a great time. Now, my dad's sitting right next to the water. He's on the edge where that fire is. So he sees the shark coming up, and he lifts me up near his lap and says, hey, son, look at this. And as I look over, the shark comes right up, and I see it face to face, and he puts me back down because he didn't think I could see, and he looks down and I'm crying. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, no." Even to this day, I joke around and I say, "Remember that time at Universal, Dad? I'm never going to let you forget that."
I think he has a love-hate relationship with Jaws. Well, it's probably more hate or fear because he's scared to death of Jaws.
As a child, going to the attraction at Universal Studios, my father would actually lifted him up as we went over the bridge.
And just as he reached over to look out the side, out comes Jaws, right up there with all his teeth and the water coming out of his mouth.
The fish just came up right out of the water at the very moment my dad lifted him up, and all you hear was blood-curdling screaming. And then he ended up on my father's head.
One thing that is interesting about this movie is you never fully see the shark until Brody is chumming the water to attract the shark. The shark comes out of the water roaring, and Brody backs up out of fear and says,
"You're gonna need a bigger boat."
And that same line is almost used when anytime someone is facing a mountain, a big problem, something that they know is going to be a struggle to get through. I am over the scare factor today of having to check the sinks and the bathrooms and the toilets, but still, Jaws still plays that same effect on me. You know, every so often I'll hear that dunna, dunna, and I'll have to look behind me. And every so often, yeah, I kind of like to trip down memory lane and check the bathtub and check the sinks. And I might check the toilet just to make sure it's not going to pop up by my... Ah! Did you see that? Maybe one day I can go swimming with the sharks. Maybe one day I can get into a pool by myself. Who knows? But to have this effect on me, just from this one film, does drive me to do one thing. That's to be able to make a movie or be part of a movie that can affect other people's lives, either to inspire to make a great film or to inspire to stay the hell out of the ocean. Maybe one day I won't have to watch myself when I go into the pool. But you never know. He could be lurking out there waiting for you, as he is for me.
Smile, you son of a...
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago, and it's gone right to my head. No matter where I roam, on the land or the sea or the foam, you'll always hear me singing this song. Show me the way to go home.